Let's take you now straight to Cape Town, the home of Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the home that he shared with his wife, Mama Leah. Our reporter, Athi Mtongana, has been following events there from this morning. A very good afternoon to you, Athi. As the Saturday fast approaches, one cannot not think of the gravity of the moment and not actually be in the present moment as tributes continue to pour in. But I'm sure as preparations also are underway, could you give us an update as to what has been transpiring there?
Well, Tammy, I want to take you back to last night where the city of Cape Town hosted an interfaith service with different religious leaders from different religious sectors where they honored the Arch, many of them praying for the Arch, and definitely Mama Leah, who has spent decades with the Arch and evidently very pained at this particular point in time. She was actually due to be part of the guests at the City Hall last night, but because we are told that she was tired last night, she could not attend. But we know that close family, friends, as well as family members were able to represent Mama Leah at that interfaith service at the City Hall last night. She has been receiving a lot of guests who have been coming here at the Tutu household to pay their condolences to the family, and so she was not up for actually sitting the whole night at the City Hall. But this morning she woke up early as they received for the very first time the body of the late Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu, which is now lying in state at the St Georges Cathedral in Cape Town. And I can tell you how emotional that moment was, especially for his daughters, who were comforting each other and were comforted by the priests who were welcoming the body at the St Georges Cathedral. They were seeing the body of their father for the very first time since his passing on the 26th of this month, Boxing Day, which will never be the same again in history. It will be marked as the day where a giant had fallen, and so they were very emotional. Evidently, they walked in and they had a special service which was conducted by Archbishop Thabo Makgoba. That was a private session between the church congregants, who are certainly leading the church at St Georges Cathedral, as well as the family. And then tomorrow afternoon we're expecting the grandchildren to be taken to go view the body. But at this present moment, many members of the public have been lining up outside the St Georges Cathedral to go view the Arch's coffin. One very, very simple coffin, nothing extravagant. It speaks to the wishes that he had pertaining to how he would have wanted to be sent off. So members of the public are able to view his coffin from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The body will then leave the church after 5 p.m. The doors of the St. George's Cathedral will be closed at 5 p.m. The body will be taken back to the mortuary, and then it will return again tomorrow for people to be able to view the coffin once again at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then on Saturday he will be cremated, and we expect his funeral proceeding to begin at the St. George's Cathedral on Saturday at around 10 a.m. And I can tell you the scores of media that have been following and tracking the story, from international news agencies to local news agencies, that are making sure that they are part of recording this historical moment that will go down in the history books, where a big giant like Archbishop Desmond Tutu has fallen. Many people speaking about the legacy that he has left behind, and many people actually wanting to be part of the services that will be held in honor of the Arch. But due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many people have been urged to stay where they are and honor the Arch in their respective cities or provinces. But we know that we might, Tammy, these are unconfirmed reports, we might get some few changes with regards to the regulations that are in place. This is pertaining to the curfew, and this is also pertaining to the indoor and outdoor number of gatherings. But all of that remains to be seen, Tammy, and if any changes are made by the state in so far as the COVID-19 regulations are concerned, then certainly that will impact the number of people who would be able to attend the Arch's funeral. One would have imagined that if we hadn't had COVID-19, it would have been a huge funeral. Many people saying it would have been big as the former and late President Nelson Mandela, given the stature and the gravity and the impact of the Archbishop, not only in South Africa but across the globe. But because of COVID-19, numbers will be reduced to make sure that we adhere to COVID-19 protocols. So today we saw that body arrive at the St Georges Cathedral. Many people are now able to go view it. The family has viewed it. The grandchildren will be able to go view it tomorrow. They'll be taken there tomorrow afternoon. But as things stand, preparations are well underway. I'm going to quickly ask my colleague to pan and show you how the outside yard of the Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu's home looks like. We have tents that have been set up. This particular one is for members of the media that have been stationed here throughout this week, and on the other side is another tent that we presume will be for guests. Preparations are still underway. People are still working on erecting these tents. There are many laborers that are here to ensure that they do everything that they can to put up these tents and to make sure that everything that is done is in line with the Arch's wishes. And a part of his wishes was that his funeral be kept as simple as possible, and that actually speaks to the make of that coffin that is inside the St George's Cathedral. One very simple coffin, one that does not even look extravagant, and that again speaks to some of the desires that he had pertaining to how he would have wanted to be sent off.
Mtongana, thank you so much for that comprehensive report. And as you're speaking there about the Arch, conveying his wishes and how he wants his farewell to be, I'm also reminded of the conversation that he'd had with one of the clergy about the fact that he would want to be interred and that his ashes will then be laid and put at the St George's Cathedral there. So certainly it seems like there was a lot of talk and a lot of discussion even while he was alive as to what it is that he wanted and how he wanted his send-off to be. But thank you, Athi Mtongana, for that. We'll touch base with you a little bit later on. She is outside the house of Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu, where, as you could see, preparations are underway. Very graciously there, we see some housing, a tent for the media and for some of the invited guests in preparation for Saturday. Staying in Cape Town, let's go now to Nasiphi Same. She is at the St George's Cathedral, where the Archbishop is lying in state. A very good afternoon to you. Could you give us some descriptions of how it was like earlier on when the body of the Arch actually arrived? We did see some visuals a little bit early on while I was talking to Athi Mtongana of the Arch arriving at the St George's Cathedral. Could you just take us back to that moment and paint a scene for us?
Well, Tami, the Arch's body, when arriving in Cape Town, went on a route where traffic department, or rather the traffic services, closed off a number of routes, Hertzendorp Boulevard, including Adderley Street and the Whale Street, where we're currently standing, leading into the precincts of the cathedral. However, we were on the other side when the body had arrived, and, just talking to the mourners that had lined up, a long queue of people who loved Arch, clearly, dearly, were there standing in line for their opportunity to have their final moments, to say goodbye to the Arch. A very emotional people that we spoke to, speaking very highly of the Arch, which is something that we've been hearing for the past couple of days, having interacted with a number of people who relayed some of the stories as to how they know the Arch, their first interactions, and how they plan to keep the Arch's legacy alive. And everyone had something to say regarding the Arch, from his hat as being activist, a human rights activist, apartheid activist, including climate change activist, and somebody that was very quick make jokes, to lighten a situation sometimes. So basically, we're still at the St Georges Cathedral, where a number of mourners are still coming out of the St Georges Cathedral, and we do understand that the foundation had released a statement asking for mourners who are basically coming from all corners of the country to, instead of buying flowers, they can make those donations to the Tutu Foundations. And we do know that earlier on in the week it was communicated that the bells at the St. George's Cathedral will ring for about 10 minutes. And that is something that happened today while his body was lying in state inside the St. George's Cathedral. And we do know that the public will have an opportunity to pay their last respect at the St. George's Cathedral, where his body lies in state for 2 days, which is today up until 5 p.m. and tomorrow we will be seeing a repeat of what is currently happening here. Authorities are obviously anticipating hundreds of people that will be coming here to pay their last respect. And we have also seen that COVID-19 protocol have been implemented to ensure that there is a minimal and zero possibility of COVID-19 spreading. And what we can also say is that, the people that have been here, Tami, is that some of them have never had a personal interaction with the Arch, but how highly they spoke of him, saying that when he did have an opportunity to get behind a microphone and speak, he spoke wisdom. He spoke, and people actually listened to him, saying as far as that when it was his birthday, he would come to the cathedral, and people will come from all corners of Cape Town as well, just to be in his presence on his birthday. But for now, it seems like the numbers are dying down a bit, but mourners are still trickling in at the St. George's Cathedral, where the body of the Arch is laying in state. And we do understand that following these 2 days where the public has been given this opportunity to pay their last respect, he will then, or rather the family, will have an opportunity to have a private cremation ahead of his funeral on the 1st of January in 2022.
Do we know, Nasiphi, exactly when the cremation will happen, even though, as you say, it will be a private family affair?
At the moment, that a communication in regards to that has not been made available, but one can anticipate that it might just happen either Friday evening or Saturday morning ahead of his funeral. We do understand that the body will be lying in state again here tomorrow for the public to come pay their last respect, which will be up until 5 o'clock, and then we'll be going back to the mortuary. The funeral will be the following day, which is Saturday, and we are anticipating that the cremation will be between Friday after 5 p.m. and Saturday, between 5 p.m. rather, and Saturday 10 a.m. before his funeral.
Thank you very much, Nasiphi Same, coming to us live from outside St. George's Cathedral in Cape Town, where the body of Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu lies in state.